20 miles west of Scotland's Outer Hebrides, the Atlantic Ocean violently collides with a tiny cluster of jagged rocks. In the winter of 1900, the Flannan Isles were one of the most hostile, unforgiving environments in Britain. To protect passing ships from this hazard, engineers constructed a 75-foot-tall lighthouse. Completed in 1899, it stood as a brilliant white beacon against the dark, battering seas. Operating this beacon required 3 seasoned professionals: James Ducat, Thomas Marshall, and Donald MacArthur. By placing these men on this remote rock, humanity was trying to impose mechanical routine onto an unyielding, chaotic force of nature. The job demanded strict adherence to a predictable schedule, keep the light burning every night, record meticulous weather observations, and wait for the relief ship. That routine held until the night of December 15th, when a passing ship logged a chilling observation. The Flannan Isles light was dark. Severe storms delayed any immediate investigation. It wasn't until December 26th that the relief vessel Hesperus finally approached the island. When relief keeper Joseph Moore looked toward the dock, expecting a routine handover, no one was there to catch their ropes or greet the ship. That silence was an immediate warning. Keepers were mandated to meet arriving vessels. The fact that the dock was empty proved the strict operational rules keeping these men alive had broken. Moore climbed the steep, narrow path toward the lighthouse alone. When he opened the main gate, he found a scene frozen in time. The men's beds were unmade. A meal sat partially prepared on the table. Beside it, a single chair lay knocked over on the floor. All 3 keepers were gone. Yet there was no blood, no signs of a struggle, and no bodies to explain their absence. The room didn't look like the site of a violent attack. It looked like a mundane afternoon interrupted by a sudden, intense burst of urgency. Hanging inside the lighthouse were 2 sets of heavy, waterproof oilskins. This meant one of the men had run out into the freezing wind without his essential protective gear, a detail that contradicts every tenet of their training. Furthermore, lighthouse protocol strictly required at least 1 man to remain inside at all times. All 3 leaving simultaneously was a massive violation of their standard operations. To understand why, investigators turned to the official logbook. The final pages revealed strange behavior. One entry described unusually severe storms. Another noted Donald MacArthur, a notoriously tough sailor, had been crying. The very last entry read, "Storm ended. Sea calm. God is over all." These entries suggest a disturbing shift in behavior. Whatever was happening outside had shaken their professional composure long before they actually disappeared. The physical evidence of a possible disaster was found down at the western landing area. The destruction there was immense. Supply boxes weighing over 200 pounds had been tossed from their moorings, and thick iron railings were warped and bent. From this, investigators formed a likely conclusion. They believed 1 keeper rushed out to secure the heavy equipment, a second followed to help, and the third broke protocol to assist them both. While all 3 were exposed on the rocky landing, a colossal wall of rogue ocean water rose up and swept all 3 men away. Given the bent iron and displaced weights, an environmental anomaly of this scale offers a physical mechanism for their disappearance that matches the wreckage found by investigators. But a rogue wave still fails to answer every question. It doesn't explain why a seasoned keeper would rush into a freezing storm without his coat, or why they would abandon the light. With no survivors to verify the facts, a vacuum was created. Over the decades, people have filled that void with stories of sea monsters, of sudden madness, and ghost ships. We instinctively look for these villains because they give us a narrative to follow. The random indifference of the ocean is far more difficult to accept. The reality of the Flannan Isles serves as a reminder of our own physical vulnerability. Armed with engineering, rigid rules, and thick iron, 3 experts stepped onto that rock and were erased by the water. Well over a century later, the lighthouse continues to stand. Ships pass safely by, but the final moments of Ducat, Marshall, and MacArthur remain a mystery. History usually leaves us evidence to piece together. The Flannan Isles endure because they left behind only silence.